Good morning, my name is Leslie Williams and I'm making this video today on May 10th, 2012 in San Diego, California. And the reason why I decided to make this particular video is going to be just some flashpoints in reference to why I do what I do. You know, the University of San Diego and SDSU, I'm subject, and even UCSD when I went over there twice, have gaslighted me on a fever scale. And you know, when people, my videos and my blogs are starting to get some attention even nationwide. Forbes has posted some of my comments. The government scrubbed one, so Forbes was re-entered. A YouTube video was made in reference to the first Forbes advertisement. A printout was made from it, and so what I did was I took a video picture of the printout and YouTubed it, and then I contacted Forbes and told them, and they printed that, and that's online. The Washington Times and the ACLU has also posted some of my some of my advertisement in reference to the crimes that have been happening towards me. You know, I'm going to say a couple things in this video that are very important, and I'm hoping that my viewers come to understand why I make these videos. You know, there's things called safety laws, the Megan Law, the Chelsea Law, and universities act like they're so, you know, one of their main objectives is to make sure that campuses are safety. They don't care that they are safe, and they don't care at all. And if you just Google organized stalking in universities or gang stalking in universities, you'll come to understand that factual reality. They do not care at all. Now, what I want to tell you is this, is that when a person is picked for organized stalking, what they do is sensitize targets. They anchor to the target, like me, specific physical gestures, verbal statements, and even sounds. They sensitize the target to. And then what they'll do is repeat these verbal statements, physical gestures, and even repeat the sounds around a target everywhere a target goes. So the target either has to see it or hear it. And this in turn makes them feel stalked. It's called visual anchoring and audio anchoring sensitization. And this in turn keeps the target constantly thinking about what they're doing and observing what they're doing in order to be able to initiate circular looped mental responses and emotional responses and physiological responses, and it makes them feel stalked and harassed as a result. And these crafted schemes, you would not believe the reason why they the frequency of how they subject a target to it. Remote neural monitoring is also used on a target, and that is done for multiple purposes. To alter a target's brain states, to monitor their evoked potentials, so they can ascertain where a target is, what a target is processing in reference to where they're going to be going next, so they can literally then place the organized stalkers in the environment that the target is processing that they're going to be going to. And this is done so, like, say if a target thinks to themselves, they're in the library, and then they think to themselves, I'm going to go to this place over here on the campus in order to get something to eat, sit down and eat. They'll literally station the organized stalkers to be in that environment. So when a target sits down to eat, they have to see the physical gestures being expedited towards them. And this is done again to make a target feel stalked and harassed. And when they engage in these physical gestures, they're very taunting about it. Okay, they're smirky about it. In other words, they smirk as they're doing it. They laugh as they're doing it. They grin as they're doing it, and they make sure that they keep repeating doing it. And what they do, in part, is sensitize targets to normal physical gestures, like putting their hands to their face like this, okay, or specific ways of coughing like this, or clearing their throat. And this is done to form the association in the target's mind see, what they do is sensitize the target deliberately to these types of physical gestures, touching the nose, putting their hands to their mouth like this, and then after that's been sensitized, they'll then, once the association in the mind's been formed, then all they do is go like this. Okay, because these are normal physical gestures that anybody does, and this is done because they don't want to be observed by people in the environment. that it's being done deliberately. Sensitization goes from everything from stroking the hair back to tapping the top of their head like they're actually just tapping their hair down, to touching their nose, to scratching their nose, to holding their hands to their face like this, and then they'll eventually just do this, okay? But what they'll do is they'll do this first and then go like this. And it's all done to make a target feel harassed and stalked. And we're talking about they'll walk by a target and do it on their route to go get something to eat. They'll walk by a target and do it, and then once the target gets there to get something to eat, they'll have people sitting around in the available seats that are left. So when the target takes the only seat that's left, that target has to witness at least 2 to 3, or at least one group of people sitting at a nearby table doing it. And this is the little crafted schemes that they develop as a result of the target being remotely neurally monitored. My name is Leslie Williams. Since these individuals will sensitize a target to normal physical gestures and average commentary, verbal statements, if a target does not know anything about organized stalking or gang stalking, remote neural monitoring, and even electronic harassment is expedited toward the target, along with the neural phone and scalar projected audible distinguishable signals. If a target is not aware of these terms, a target could feel extremely threatened, because this is not the only thing that happens to a target as a result of being a target of organized stalking. Their personal lives are totally are 100% torn down. Okay, homelessness is created deliberately by getting landlords and property owners on board. Mail theft and mail delayment of rent. Sylvia L. Morales is another target of organized stalking in San Diego. Norman and Tracy Wicks are also targets of organized stalking in San Diego. And there's at least 3 other targets that I've already seen their YouTube videos and don't remember their names flat out. And the thing about it is that, these expeditions, they do not care at all. Like how I told you that the normal physical gestures are used to sensitize a target to. Well, what if one day they pick a target who, because some targets, when you're first picked, you don't know anything about organized stalking or gang stalking or remote neural monitoring, okay, or electronic harassment. You don't have a name for it yet. So what if a target, and they also, excuse me just for 1 second, but they also have targets raped, assaulted, harassed along all of their routes to get the community on board in a way like you would not believe. They have the power positions to get businesses and employees and management on board and security staff on board in these schemes. So when you have a target that doesn't have any terminology to describe to themselves internally what's happening to them, especially even after being either raped or assaulted, and then they'll get along your route after they do that to you and threaten to do it again through the verbal statements. Then what they'll do is continue to subject the target to the physical gestures and continued verbal statements. A target might lose it and accidentally hurt somebody who's just doing this one day, as they're sitting there thinking that it's another person that's harassing them overtly. And this is what I mean, that university staff does not care about your child. Okay? Because if they'll sensitize targets and gang stalk them and organize stalk them on a feverish scale throughout the whole entire day, every single day, okay, if they'll do that to your son or daughter who does not know about remote neural monitoring, does not know about organized stalking, if they'll do that to your son or daughter, okay, and since this technology can also alter you neurally, it can literally incite and stimulate anger, depression, panic attacks, anxiety attacks, sexual stimulation, you would not believe what I know and the crimes that are being perpetrated towards innocent human beings on university campuses and in the community at large as a result of being a target of organized stalking. So, what are you going to do? Are you going to be able to really to deduce at the end of the night, at the end, when you really think about this, is it safe for me to send my son or daughter to this university if I got people on campus that are being harassed and stalked and don't have no understanding of why it's happening to them? If your daughter or son one day accidentally sits next to a target and does a normal thing, how do you know, okay, that a target will not get up and hurt your child because they believe that they're being harassed as a result of being sensitized to normal physical gestures and average everyday commentary that's verbalized around the target that they sensitize a target to? I'm going to also say this. and that it's just now starting to get some attention. Remote neural monitoring can literally transmit how I'm speaking to you right now. They have the technology that's extremely sophisticated, and what they can do, I'm going to give you an example. There's an application that you can buy on a smartphone or an Android phone, and this technology can take my voice print. It's an application, and what it can do, I'm going to give you an example of how it works. It's an application that can take Popeye's voice print or Yosemite Sam and download it to their phone, and then they speak into their phone, and anything they say, okay, as a result of them having the application on their phone, anything they say into the phone can come out in Popeye's voice. Okay, well, the handlers of remote neural monitoring also have voice print software, where they literally take the voice print of a target, okay, and incorporate it within their software that's inside the remote neural monitoring technology. It's a computer network. And what they do is say specific things into their technology and then transmit it of a target, and with having the software, the target's voice print, and then will transmit anything they say into the target's audio cortex. And so the target honestly believes that it's just their own internal processes, their own internal thoughts, because in their audio cortex, they're hearing their own voice as a result of them having the target's voice print. Okay? So what if your son or daughter are sitting next to a target who doesn't have no idea about remote neural monitoring, no idea about this voice morphing, no idea about voice synthesizing, no idea about organized stalking, and they transmit in your daughter or son's head in their own voice print algorithm in their audio cortex how they can react to being harassed. Do you see what I'm saying? All you have to do is do the research in reference to everything I just described to you, and you can come to understand why so much violence, and especially unspeakable violence, is going on now on university campuses. My name is Leslie Williams. I'm here today to inform the public. This is by no means at all child's play that I am talking about. I am talking about university staff, campus safety, and extremely huge, organized, crafted expeditions that are deliberately and intentionally, with complete malice aforethought, being expedited on university campuses with pure criminal intent. My name is Leslie Williams. I make these videos to inform the public about what's really happening. And I'm going to tell you something right now. When they pick a target, they intercept all targets' communications for help. Cell phone they hack into. Google organized stalking and cell phone hacking. Computer monitoring and surveillance of a target's emails. Yeah, blogs, everything. They went in and edited and altered so many of my blogs that's almost undescribable. I made a video yesterday that was extremely descriptive in reference to just some of the things that have happened to me. It's not, you know, when you hear about it, you're going to hear how I have been victimized as a result of being a target of this crime. And I apologize if it might seem a little descriptive, but it's important, okay, for students and for people to be able to see what happens to us targets. And, you know, as a result of people becoming educated about this crime concerning universities and colleges, it might break, and then discovering remote neural monitoring, it might break some illusions about your safety, about your community. But I'm gonna, and you might even have, you know, even students might have, you know, the ideas that I wish this person never entered our campus. We could just go about our lives and get on with our lives. But I would rather you dislike me, or I would rather you suffer the breaking of an illusion than you have to suffer what could happen to you if you're targeted as a result of these expeditions going on your university campus. I would rather you be informed and hate me or be uncomfortable than you not be informed. Because what I care about at the end of the day is your safety and informing the public at large so they can understand this is not child's play at all. Go to Google and type in organized stalking in universities. You'll get close to 8 million responses. And then when you start looking at the YouTube videos and the blogs in reference to what's happened to other targets, you're going to understand that your child, your son, or your daughter flat out is not safe on campus. And I'm going to tell you another thing right now, that people that host and expedite these crimes, they can literally lie to your child to get your child on board in these schemes against the target. And if you're dealing with a target who doesn't know about organized stalking, remote neural monitoring, or electronic harassment, and or which you can also call it gangstalking, if they do not know about it, if the target does not know about it, and your daughter or son is picked to harass a target on a specific day, and that target loses it as a result, what could happen to your son or daughter? This is how universities do not care at all, because they're the ones who are hosting and managing and expediting the students to get on board in these campaigns. Okay? So think about this. What if a target who doesn't know anything about it, has no terminology to describe what's happening to them, your daughter or son is picked based on a lie to harass a target who's ignorant about these crimes, and that target explodes? My name is Leslie Williams. This is the clear audacity of how a university will literally use your child and put your child in harm's way, and it also can put bystanders in harm's way too, because they sensitize targets to normal physical gestures and normal verbal statements. My name is Leslie Williams. All you have to do is go to Google and YouTube and look up organized stalking, and also Google and YouTube remote neural monitoring, electronic harassment, and then extensively research organized stalking and sensitization, and when it comes to audio anchoring and visual anchoring, and cross-reference that to organized stalking. I hope this video was informative to you. I make them in order to be able to educate you in reference to the expeditions that are deliberately going on university campuses with 100% pure criminal intent and malice aforethought.